the physical world, because the physical world requires spirits, cannot accommodate spirits. Spirits have no form. And it cannot occur, the meeting cannot occur in the world of spirits, in the world of the malakut, because bodies are not subtle. They're dense, they have form. And form cannot be accommodated in the world of spirits. So there has to be a barzakh. There has to be a barzakh. And Shaykh al-Akbar calls Alam al-Khayal a barzakh, and the name certainly does come from the Qur'an, which is the famous verse in Surah Rahman and in other verses in the Qur'an, مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ يَلْتَقِيَانِ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. He merged the two seas, the fresh water and the salty water, they meet. But between them is a barzakh, an isthmus. The word in English for barzakh is isthmus. Between them is an isthmus, so they do not transgress against one another. The fresh water, the body of the fresh water in this case, is the world of spirits. It's pure. The salty water is the world of forms, the physical world, the nasut. So the fresh water is the malakut, and the salty water is the nasut, and the barzakh in between them where they can meet is the jabarut, is the world of the imagination. And that has to exist. That has to be there in order for spirits to meet bodies. Now, just because human beings and we as Muslims have stopped talking about Alam al-Khayal in recent times doesn't mean that Alam al-Khayal does not exist. It does exist. And Shaykh al-Akbar tells us that this is the world where our dreams take place. Our dreams take place in Alam al-Khayal. Awliya, when they meet spirits, or when even lay people meet spirits and ghosts, those spirits and ghosts appear as if they are in the physical world, but in reality they have dressed themselves in a subtle form, in a transparent, translucent bodily form, and their immediate surroundings are actually in Alam al-Khayal. That Alam al-Khayal, it's a piece of Alam al-Khayal in the physical world. So the world of dreams and the actual, also the barzakh, the world of barzakh, which is where human beings transition into, where they transition into after death and awaiting the day of judgment. So the Qur'an, if its realities are the ma'ani, in the world of spirits, it's the form or the subtle linguistic form that it takes in the world of imagination is what we have in the words that we recite. When the Qur'an is recited, those meanings take form in the words that act like a dress over the meanings. So our utterances are part of not necessarily, Shaykh al-Akbar would not say that our utterances of the Qur'an, our recitation of the Qur'an is from Alam al-Nasut. No, that's coming still. But our utterances are actually from Alam al-Khayal. They're manifestations. They're kind of like, if you consider water, clear, pure water, as being the ma'na, the meaning of the verses of the Qur'an, and then the recitation of every human being is like a cup that the water is put in. And each cup has a different color and a different shape. When water goes into into the cup, the water gets the shape and the color of the cup. But water remains water. Water is unchanged. But it appears to be in the color and the shape of the cup. Our utterances, our recitations, our distinctive recitations of the Qur'an are cups in which the ma'na of the Qur'an is placed in. And then once the ma'na comes, and that's a type of imagination. Why? Because Shaykh al-Akbar tells us that what happens in dreams is a similar process to our recitation of the Qur'an. How so? When a spirit wants to come and visit you in your dream, that spirit has no form. It's completely subtle. But it has to appear to you in a form because you can only interact in forms, in alam al-khayal. So what the spirit does is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes a form that exists in your memory, from images that you have seen during the day or throughout your lifetime. And whichever form or whichever image in your mind most closely resembles the spirit that wants to interact with you, that spirit will be dressed in that form. And then the spirit will interact with you in that form. And this is why it is important that we keep the images in our mind pure and clear. And we keep them tayyib. We keep them pure, clean, so that when we have dreams, our dreams appear in clear, vivid form that is not distorted by our memory bank. Because spirits appear to us in our memory bank, in the forms that we have stored in our mind. So likewise, these ma'ani in the Qur'an, when we recite the Qur'an, it is a process of khayal, it is a process of imagination, because the meanings of the Qur'an are being dressed in our own recitation. That can be addressed in our ahwal, in our spiritual states, in our spiritual dispositions at the particular moment of our recitation. For example, somebody can recite the Qur'an and he is overly joyed. Somebody can recite the Qur'an and he is overly sad. Somebody can recite the Qur'an and he is overly afraid. And all of that will appear in the form of recitation and will affect everybody around the person. But that's still not nasut. That's still not nasut. The linguistic recitation, the auditory recitation of the Qur'an is actually a form of imagination. But once so for example, if we take the example of a tree, shajara, the ma'na of the shajara is the malakut that resides in the Qur'an, in the meaning of the Qur'an. The word shajara, when we recite it, when we pronounce it, that becomes a khayal. So for example, if I were to recite the verse, وَمَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ كَشَجَرَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ. Now my recitation of the word shajara is from alam al-khayal. And then the actual trees in the world are nasut. That is nasut. That is the material manifestation of the trees, the ma'na that's in the Qur'an, and my recitation of it. And then finally, the insan al-kamil, that's where you have to first understand, what does the tree signify? What does the tree signify? And then you find its example, its root in the insan al-kamil. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, when He mentions the tree, says, وَمَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ كَشَجَرَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ أَصْلُهَا ثَابِتٌ وَفَرْعُهَا فِي السَّمَاءِ. The example of a good word is like a good tree. Its roots are firm in the ground, and its branches are, or its trunk is high, and then its branches are high in the heavens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about the famous verse, probably the most important verse